I think we're live. Eight people. I think we're live. Hey, Tim. Yeah, the radar is finally clear. Hey, Brown Dwarf. Charlie, hey. Bigfoot Busters, hey. We'll wait a few minutes, guys, until we get a few more people in here. Hey, Shannon. Lynn, hey.
Matthew.
Matthew. Howdy, folks. We'll wait a few minutes and give everybody a chance to kind of get in here. And as y'all can see, we're back in the woods. Yeah, Brooks, we survived the storms, and they were pretty bad last night. Day before yesterday, we had 5 inches of rain, and probably had another 5 inches last night with tornado warnings and hail and high winds. And of course, we lost power about 10 minutes into the program, and I don't know when it came back on. Yeah, Shannon, we were all sorry to hear about Robert. He was a great friend to us and a mentor, and we really mourned losing him. Yeah, Tim, if you don't mind, keep an eye over our shoulder right back here behind us. Hey, John, right back here behind us is where a lot of the activity is being. Hey, Dustin. John, by the way, just want to let you know that your gifts that you sent are at the gifting area. 10 by 5X. Hello there. Union Arms. Yeah, I hope we have better luck tonight too. Hopefully the storms are gone and we won't have to deal with those anymore. It was a beautiful day today. Sunshine, blue skies. Hey, Jamie.
If y'all see that smoke going across there, we got a citronella candle going. We got a thermocell. It is mosquito country here.
Well, thanks for sending those, John. They were very impressive. Well, we've got, like she said, Dustin, we've got a thermocell going and a citronella candle, and mosquitoes are out. Hey, Carl, I thought you were at the beach, guy.
I can't even tell you how many ticks I've picked off of me today. Trying to keep them off my dogs.
Cryptid 559, hello there. We'll kind of get started a little bit. Oh, you are at the beach. Oh, well, cool. Thanks for tuning in from the beach. We appreciate that a lot. As you guys may or may not know, we attempted to do this last night, and we kind of got blown off the map here with real bad storms, high winds, torrential rains, tornado warnings. Just had a really bad night weather-wise, and we got knocked off the air about 10 minutes into the program last night. So I made a commitment that we were going to do this again tonight. Hello, Christy.
Yeah, Jamie, one of the roads near us that we used to go to town is closed. So we have to go a whole different route if we want to go into town.
Yeah, I think that a bridge washed out down there on the road. The water got so high. Charlie, Kerry is on his way to Nebraska. Him and Linda are on their way up to Nebraska to film a show up there with an Indian tribe. So they're probably not going to be on here tonight. They're on the road. I think they had a 18-hour drive to get up there where they were going, and they were going to film up there a couple of days with that Indian tribe and the elders, and get a 2-part show out of that. So they're going to be on the road for a few days.
Wonder how many miles Kerry's got on that truck.
He told me at one time, it's practically a brand new truck, and it's already got a lot of miles on it. Yeah, Union Arms, we're looking forward to that show too. That ought to really be a great show. I'm looking forward to that. He ought to have that on the air in maybe a week or so. He was actually coming back through this part of the world in Oklahoma to do a show with Lady in the Woods on his way back. So he's going to try to get 2 shows out of that trip. Guys, if y'all know any movement back here behind us, please let us know. Obviously, we can't see behind us. And then later on, when it gets dark, if you note any eye shine or anything going on back there, well, please let us know. This area back here, we're right inside the wood line. And this area right back in here has been the area where we've had a lot of activity. So, like I said last night, we got down here on Tuesday afternoon and spent quite a while walking the property and looking around. And well, now that you mentioned that, I've got this night vision camera that films in the dark. So if you guys note anything going on back there, I'm going to spin this thing around and start filming behind us. I've also got the regular camera also, to if anything shows up that we can get on film, we're going to do it. But this camera right here is a night vision camera. It films in the dark. It works off of infrared. It has a built-in infrared light, and I also added an infrared light on the side. So this thing films pretty good in the dark. So if you guys notice anything back there, y'all let us know, and I'll start filming back there.
You're skipping and blurry.
Well, we're right on the edge of our Wi-Fi signal, so I think if we got much further, I actually wanted to try to get a little further back there, but I think if we get any further back, we're going to lose Wi-Fi altogether. But Jamie asked if we had any activity since the live stream. That's what I was referring to. We got up here on Tuesday. Not yet, John. We'll probably do that a little later on. We got down here on Tuesday and spent most of the afternoon Tuesday walking the property. And yesterday, before the rain, we got out and did quite a bit of looking, and there just wasn't much activity at all going on the property, which again kind of lends to my theory that we don't have a clan that actually lives here, but they pass through here quite a bit. I think they use this area as a hunting area because we have so many deer and so many hogs, and there's just so much food and water for them here on the property. I think they use this area as a hunting area. But having said that, we have had a little activity down at the gifting area. When we got down here, Sheila went down to the gifting area and put out a couple of apples and a bottle of water. Well, yesterday we walked down there, and of course the apples were gone. That really doesn't mean anything. Raccoons, possums, and that kind of thing, but the apples were gone. But the surprising thing was, give me that bottle of water right there. she had left a bottle of water like this down there with the top on. When we walked down there, the top was off, it was taken off, the water was gone, and the top was put back on.
Now I broke the seal and put it back on,
And put it back on.
but not real tight. I just loosened.
Now what takes the cap off, drinks the water, and then puts the cap back on and sets the bottle back down? Takes hands to do that. I don't think a raccoon or a possum or bobcat or whatever could do that. So,
And I think there's limitation on what animal could pick up an apple and carry it away. Because if it was been like a little squirrel or what, they'll usually munch on it right there, but they couldn't pick up a whole apple and carry it away.
Mother's Mustache, welcome to the channel. We're in southeastern Oklahoma. Glad you could tune in tonight. We are actually out in the woods doing a live stream. This is our second attempt at doing this. We did it a couple of weeks ago and had a lot of activity going on around us during the live stream. We had some eye shine and a lot of footsteps, and we even had a growl that night. Jamie, the lid was on very tight. Something had to take that lid off, but it was on very tight.
What I did with the apples and the water, as y'all know, I'm not real comfortable about the safety of my dogs. So I took a paper plate, and Lord, I'm terrible at drawing, but so what the heck. I drew a tall stick man and a little shorter stick woman and two little dogs on the paper plate. And I put them there and put the apples on top of the plate and the water on top of that, hopefully saying this is from the family and saying leave my dogs alone. But the plate was not disturbed, just that apple was taken and the bottle of water was, I don't know what they did with it, and then they laid it back down there on the plate. So I don't know exactly what that means.
Drew, is that the Drew that we know? Is that the Drew that's been on a couple of expeditions with us?
The Drew that has the wonderful dog named Corey.
Drew, we have found some more structures. That is the Drew. Welcome, Drew. Good to see you. There's structures all over this place.
That's a good idea, Andrew. I should get some of those stick family bumper stickers. It would certainly be better drawing than I can do.
Bigfoot Mama, we're about 100 miles from McAllister. We would be east of McAllister.
How's Corey, Drew? Is she missing me? Corey is Drew's dog that he takes with him everywhere. The most well-behaved dog ever, and just such a lovable dog. I love to see her. Drew was supposed to let her have some time with me, but he never did.
Carl, I didn't bring the Strat. I did bring my acoustic, but I didn't bring the Strat. Drew says he does miss you, though. Corey misses you.
Yeah, but he's supposed to have visitation with me, and that never happened.
Guys, if y'all have any questions for us as we go along, if you could put them in all caps, it sure makes it easier to keep up with. As y'all know, the chat, sometimes it just moves so fast that a lot of times we miss a lot of questions if they're not in all caps. Yeah, that'll do. I've been strumming on it a little bit.
Bill and I were talking, we were trying to wrap our head around verbalizing how it feels different. Like when we got here this time, we both said it feels different. And I kind of compare it to like when you've been away from your house for a while and you come back, the minute you walk in the back door, you know if someone's there. Even if you haven't seen them, you can feel that they're there. And by the same token, if there's nobody there, it just feels kind of different and empty. And that's kind of the way it's felt the first couple of days we were here. Like it's just, there's nobody home. But we have had rains of biblical proportions. So even if they're here, they're got to be hunkered down somewhere. But they get hungry every day, so they got to come out.
Patty, you're right. I don't know if they moved out due to the weather pattern or not. Again, I think they travel through this area and utilize it as a hunting area. There's this whole entire area down here is nothing but woods, and I think they use this area to come in and do hunting and don't necessarily live here, but they frequent here quite often. I think on hunting expeditions they come in here and utilize the amount of deer and hogs and food that's here for them, and then maybe go back to wherever they're actually living at.
Well, we did find that fairly fresh footprint down in what we call the mesquite pit.
Yeah, we did find a footprint yesterday. Was that this morning?
No, it's this
That was
morning.
this morning. We did find some footprints this morning. They had to be fresh because we just had so much rain. In fact, it was still filled with water. But somebody asked earlier, do we have any dogmen in this area? I think it was Brooks that asked that. Um, I don't know about this particular area. The only sighting that we've had here on our property was, we feel like was a juvenile, but not very far from here, in our other research area, which was Robert Dodson's research area before he passed away. He did have some pictures of one that sure looked like what people think about when they say a dog man. Had the long snout, the big canines. But Robert talked about having 3 different types of Sasquatch in his research area, which was the typical patty type that you think about when you think about a Bigfoot. Then there was a smaller version, thinner, smaller version that had a lot less hair. And then this version that Robert or everybody calls a dog man. It looks like looks more like a baboon or something like that, but it has the long snout, the long canine teeth. 3 different types that Robert had identified in that research area down there.
Yeah, Scott says he's got pictures of dogman.
Hey Scott, how are you?
Hey, Carl, in answer to your question a while ago, we can't do live down in the swamp at Roberts because there's not, the Wi-Fi doesn't reach that far. But we do plan on doing one, and there's Scott, with Scott and Udell at outside Roberts Camp if they've got the Wi-Fi going, and that'll be next weekend. But we're limited to the distance that we can go.
Cryptid 559 says, is there a creek on your property? If so, have you hiked along the creek? Cryptid, there are actually 2 creeks that run through our property. And yes, we have hiked those creeks pretty good, and we actually found some footprints along along the creek. But there are 2 creeks that go through this property. one on the west side and another one on the east side. Both of them are spring fed. They run year round. But yeah, we've hiked those extensively looking for footprints. Somebody asked earlier, why do I think they have white hair? My personal opinion is I think they're just like people. As they get older, the hair tends to gray, but I don't see why it would be any different than people. Uh, as they get older, they start turning gray, and I think an older one would be gray, almost white. But I don't think they're any different than people in that aspect. That's my personal opinion. Have you guys heard of local people in your area having encounters? Hello, William. Welcome from Scotland. Yes, there's been a lot of sightings around this area that we're in. Just a short distance from our property here, there's a 10,000 acre wildlife refuge, and there's been multiple sightings. Carl says they're married. That's why they turn gray. But multiple sightings in that area, and in this area, southeastern Oklahoma. I mean, you can go on Google Bigfoot in southeastern Oklahoma, and you'll get multiple things or sightings in this area. Things going on in the Sulphur area.
You know, back to the Dogman discussion. I don't think we have Dogman here, but we've all wondered about the picture that we got of the big eye. We call them big eyes, where the eyes are so far apart. And Carrie said, and I think it might be a possibility, that maybe the eyes are more placed this way than this way. So, you know, that could just be a characteristic of this family group. But it would explain why the eyes are so set apart. I don't know. That's in one of the videos that we put out there. And then that picture that one, who was our subscriber that got the one over your shoulder?
That was Sky Underwood.
Yeah, I mean, those eyes are far apart, so it could be. And I tried to put those side by side in a picture to do a comparison. It could be the same one because those eyes were so far apart, and it may be they're placed differently than we're used to thinking. I don't know, just about.
Somebody asked earlier too, what class of Sasquatch do we feel like is on this property or utilizing this property? I think, again, my personal opinion, we really hadn't owned the property that long, but from what we've seen, I think we have the smaller version here. The one that Robert talked about being a smaller, thinner version with less hair. The one that we've seen on this property is probably only about 6.5 foot tall. And of course, jet black, but it didn't appear to have as much hair as you think about the patty type Sasquatch. I've got a picture I'm going to show you here in just a minute. We got off a game cam yesterday that has a lot of hair on it, and I'll show you that here in just a minute. Yeah, Jamie, there's a lot of people that were watching that live stream with the eye shine directly behind us. I didn't notice it, and we didn't notice it other than we knew there was a lot of movement going on back and forth behind us.
Yeah, that's pretty much right where we were hearing some loud, as Robert calls it, his trademark snaps back there, and moving back and forth in that wood line, probably right about in line with that eye shine that we was on the video.
Jamie, our properties are close enough Well, I don't know. I don't think it's the same. Well, it could be. I don't know. It'd just be conjecture on my part, but um, I think it could be possibly. Um, they would have to cover quite a bit of distance, but it possibly could be.
Is it still real blurry behind us? Can y'all see it okay? It's showing up pretty clear on our laptop, but somebody said the background is pretty blurry.
Welcome, Ken Ritchie from Lubbock, Texas. We're proud to have you here.
It's blurry.
Is it blurry behind us back here?
Yeah, that's what she's saying. Let me go stand back there and see if you can see me. Maybe you're just seeing a bunch of woods. Let me go back there and see how blurry I look. If I don't come back, y'all come after me. I'm gonna have to scoot around behind you. When I'm in here,
Ronnie says it's fairly clear back there. Again, guys, this area right directly behind us back here is where the majority of our activity has been going on. Can you see right there, Sheila? Can y'all see her pretty good back there? I think maybe the camera's just focusing on us and not necessarily focusing back here. Well, Jamie, again, I'm trying to push the Wi-Fi signal as far as I can. Uh, I actually wanted to get a little further back there, but I think I'd lose signal if I got any further than this. We're really on the kind of the limits here.
I think Drew would have loved it if one would have jumped out and grabbed me right then. Or Scott, they're always wanting to put an apple in my mouth and make me go sit down in the woods. That was originally a Robert plan. He wanted me to fill my pockets with apples and put one in my mouth and go sit down in the woods. Yeah, I didn't do that.
Robert's nickname for Sheila was Apple Girl.
Shut up, Scott. You're going to get to do the apple trick next weekend.
Yeah, by the way, while we're talking about that, guys, next weekend, starting on Thursday, the entire Squatch team is going to be down in Robert's research area. Scott's flying in from Florida. Of course, Udell will be there. Me and Sheila will be there. So next weekend ought to be really good. We'll all be down there spending 3 or 4 days doing research in Robert's research area. So we ought to be getting a lot of good footage and a lot of stuff going on. We got some plans in place that I think is gonna be very beneficial. So you guys stay tuned for that.
Hey, Scott, maybe you could kind of keep the bad weather in Florida and don't bring it with you this time.
What I was referring to earlier, guys, we got some game cameras up just in some different places. Yeah, Mother's Mustache. That is our plan to get a Wi-Fi booster and install it here where we can get a little further back in the woods. Some of them I understand that really boost the signal where you can get quite a bit back there. So that's our plan, is to get that done where we can do some lives actually way back in the woods. So how far are we from the cabin? We're not too awfully far.
From the router, maybe 50 yards.
Yeah, something like that. I lost my thought process.
Oh, were you leading up to
Oh,
that game competition?
yeah.
Bear with him. He's got a lot going on
He
here.
had a lot going on. We've got a couple of game cameras up in different locations, and you know, we caught the eye shine on one of our game cameras, and we caught some other stuff. But we got down here on what was our most recent event. I think our most recent event was 2 weeks ago, Ken, when we were here at the cabin eating dinner, uh, right at dark one afternoon, and all of a sudden rocks started hitting the cabin. We had 3 within about 15 minutes hit the cabin. So I grabbed the video camera and told Sheila, "Come on, let's go. There's something going on out here." So we came back here and started filming, and I caught a juvenile right back in this area behind us, standing by a tree. Uh, he had a stick in his hand. Sheila called it a spear, but he had this long stick in his hand. But that video is on our channel. If you guys hadn't seen it or you want to go look at it, it's called "Is This the Sasquatch That Threw the Rocks?" But that video is out there on the channel right now. Hi, lady in the woods. No, Jamie, that was not the picture that was in the thumbnail. That picture came from Kentucky. No, this is not Carrie's hat. This is actually mine. Back to the game camera. We got down here Tuesday afternoon. Well, I went down and pulled the SD cards, came back up here, and was just looking through them, and I caught something on the game camera I'd like for you guys to see. Now,
Did you bring anything off today?
no. What do you see?
Probably nothing. Could look at it. Yes.
Anyway, I brought the SD cards in and started going through them. And I got this picture off the game camera, and 2 frames before this, the camera was shaking. The next frame, the camera was shaking again, and then this popped up. See if you guys can see that. Can you guys see that? Yeah, it's very long hair now. That's not a raccoon. It's not a possum. That camera was pretty high up on the tree, and as you can see, that's pretty long hair. But I just found that very interesting. I don't know what, I don't want to conjecture about what that might be or what it might not be. I just know what it's not. It's not a raccoon. It's not a possum. I don't know. It's just very long hair. Looks like it's hanging off of a limb. I don't know. It's not a bear. Oh, Sheila's got on the parabolic mic, Ken. She's listening out in the edge of the woods with that parabolic mic. But I don't know how high up was the camera placed. Brooks, it was
Not very much.
4 or 5 foot up on the tree, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to get you guys' opinion about what you think that might be.
Yes, Ken, it's a parabolic listening device.
Hey, Andy. I don't know. What do you guys think? Yeah, I just know what it's not. I don't think it's a raccoon. Raccoon hair doesn't look like that. Possum hair doesn't look like that. Um, could it be? Could it be a Sasquatch? I I don't know. It the hair is not white. I think what that is the IR. It is so close to the camera that the IR is whiten it out. If you get real close to the camera, when that IR light hits it, it kind of whites it out. So I think it's not it's not white. I just think the IR is whitening it out. I don't know. It may be white. I'm not sure, but I know that if you get real close to a camera, when that IR goes off, it'll definitely white it out.
I'm not sure how it could be a squirrel's tail. I'm not saying it's not, but the way you'd have to see the placement of the camera and the tree. I don't know how that tail could reach around in front of the camera like that. Do you, Bill?
No, I don't.
There's not a branch or anything that it could
I
get
don't.
on.
I don't think it's a squirrel. Squirrel's tail just doesn't look like that. I'm not. I'm not certainly not saying it's a Bigfoot, but we know they come through this property, especially over where that game camera was.
No, we didn't find any hair. We looked, but that happened about, wasn't it the 25th?
24th or 25th
And we
of
had
April.
such torrential rain since then. Everything's been blown away. No.
Yes, it was after dark. It was, I believe, the timestamp on the camera was like, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the morning. No, 10:13 p.m. was the time. No, it's not a bear.
I've seen similar pictures like that on other people's game cam. In fact, I think Robert has one that's kind of like that, and I've seen other people that are Bigfoot interests that have much similar pictures like that.
Jamie, I don't think it was a dog because the way where the camera was positioned, I don't think it would, unless it was a Great Dane or a really tall dog.
So strange.
It's just one of those that kind of makes you scratch your head, and we don't know what it is, but we know what it's not. So
Yeah, that's a good point. The hair has a separation like people hair, but not there.
yeah, Jamie, it was pretty high up. It couldn't have been a dog. Yeah, it was 4 or 5 foot off the ground, lady in the woods. It's definitely strange. We do know that they pass through this property, especially in that area where I had that camera set up. And John, it very well could be arm hair. When I first saw that picture, that's what the first thing hit me was that's hair hanging off an arm. Yeah, Tim, I don't like to speculate on anything. It's just one of those that makes you scratch your head and wonder exactly what it is. Brian says Bigfoot with a bad hair day. Yeah.
With all this rain, that's very possible.
You want to sleep here, lady in the woods? You want to go down there and pitch a tent?
No, but there's so many mosquitoes there. That alone would keep me from doing it.
Mother's mustache, when we saw the juvenile, what was it doing? It was standing there staring at us with that stick in his hand.
Anthony wants to see the picture. I'm gonna step back here in the woods and see if I hear anything. Y'all hear a scream, I'm running. Arm.
Are we afraid of them? Ken says. Ken, I'm not particularly afraid of them. I just have a great respect for them. A large respect for them. We've got some Squatch team T-shirts that on the front says "Respect the Squatch," and that's our attitude. That's what we do. We respect them. Good evening, Jeannie. Welcome. I don't know. I don't know what that is, guys. I don't want to conjecture and make guesses about it, but it just is extremely strange. Something like that show up on the game camera, and again, guys, you see Sheila walking around back there. She's got the parabolic back there listening. Andy, we found a fresh track today, way back down the property, down close to one of the creeks. We did find a fresh track this morning. Does it alert you when something moves? Are you talking about the parabolic, Mike? No, it doesn't alert you. You just have to be listening and scanning. Jamie, this is further back in the woods from where we were last time. Last time we were further up, closer to the cabin. This time we're further back in the edge of the wood line. Woods are right here. We're right back up against them. Amanda, the one that Robert saw and had a picture of, wasn't very big. I'm going to say it was maybe 5 foot tall. He didn't mention it being aggressive. In fact, I think he said that as soon as he took that picture, it ran off. But maybe 4.5, 5 foot tall. It wasn't that large. I don't think it was a juvenile either. It looked like a full grown, what they call a dog man. Yeah, any questions y'all might have, again, put them in all caps where I can keep up with them. Andy, we haven't heard any whistles tonight. Now, we did the last live stream that we had. There was all kind of stuff going on. We had whistles going on, and we even had a growl during the night while the live stream was going on. And then, of course, we had that eye shine that we caught on camera when it was directly behind me, probably, I don't know, 40 or 50 feet behind us in the edge of the wood line. Brian, we have heard howls and screams. Yes, we have, especially early in the morning. Maybe 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. We walk outside with a cup of coffee, and way off down on the creek, we hear all kind of noise.
You know what's interesting is, if y'all were tuned into our last live, not the one last night that was a total washout, no pun intended, we talked about how every time I walked out, there was an owl that called. It was morning, noon, and night. Every time I walked out, there was an owl that called. But you could tell it wasn't really an owl. This time, since we felt like they're not here, or just didn't feel like their presence is near, there hasn't been one owl call.
We haven't heard not one.
So I think that was the one we called Junior messing with us.
Carl, we do hear that rah. That's kind of what I refer to as a growl. That rah. Did y'all hear that?
Dog can't
Is
answer.
that a dog?
Yeah.
But yes, we have heard that. We've heard that a lot down at Robert's research area, and then also here the other night.
Looks like I shine behind you now. All right. Can you be more specific? How
Are you
far
talking
back?
about this right here?
Yeah, I tried to get him to bring his guitar out here, Andy. I think that's a great idea.
That's light through the trees. That's exactly what that is.
Yeah, he's quite the musician and has played in many a band, so he could definitely do a little Tim McGraw and maybe whatever else y'all want to hear. But
Welcome, Linda. Yeah, we're okay. We survived the night. We haven't noticed any activity after the severe weather last night, other than we had a little activity down at the gifting area with the bottled water and the apples. And we found that one fresh footprint this morning that, I mean, it had to have been made right after the rain. I mean, it had water in it, or, you know, it looked like it stepped and then the track had filled up with water.
yeah, it's light between the leaves that you're seeing.
Yeah, this
If it was that tall, it'd be like 30 foot tall. So
right
I
here.
would be running for the woods. A little bit of Willie Nelson. He can do Willie Nelson. He has a lot of originals that he could do.
No, we're doing other stuff tonight.
But wouldn't it be cool if they started howling to your music? It either be a compliment or shut the hell up.
It'd probably be shut the hell up. You got to keep watch back here, though. And like I said, I've got my night vision camera here, and if we get any movement back there or anything at all, I want to get these cameras rolling.
Yes, sir. We are live.
We are live right now. I didn't bring the Strat. I just brought my acoustic guitar, but I didn't bring the Strat.
Hey, since we're not heavy into activity, a little bit of not known facts about Drew. He counts down the days to Christmas. Right now, he could tell you how many days it is to Christmas. How many is it, Drew?
Carl, I don't know if that's a fluke or not that we both play guitar. I don't know. What do you think? You
Do
think?
a tree knock. Do you have your knock in here?
No, I don't have it with me.
Where's
But
your knock?
it's in the back seat of my truck.
Where's the check?
Yeah, you want the keys?
Oh, I think, look, I told you Drew would know. And he's probably already getting his string of lights out to make sure that all the lights are working.
Welcome, Rod, from South Dakota. No, leave those off. No, there's no breeze blowing right now. It's as still as it can be. You think they like it, Carl? I don't know. I don't know if that's a coincidence or not. I think the bleached out part, Patty, is I've got a light set up so that we won't completely be in the dark here. I probably need to adjust that a little bit so we won't be so bleached out. Uh, let me adjust that light so we won't be so bleached out. Now, is that better?
Wait. This is an official Bigfoot knocker. This is official, patented, and can buy on Bill.com.
Something blocks the light back there, like movement.
Yeah, let me do
Yeah, all right, I'm gonna do a wood knock.
He usually uses my head, but I'm gonna
I'm gonna do
ask
a
him
wood
to
knock.
use a
Maybe we'll
tree.
get a response.
Sometimes something works. Here we go.
I should make and sell them. Yeah, that's an official Bigfoot knocker.
Look at the spot on the right. Our right or your right?
Are you talking about right here? Bigfoot cell phone stick. Yeah, that's what they use to communicate.
Directly behind you, something is moving. Could be wind and leaves. Okay. Look behind us. Okay. Y'all just don't. Can't imagine how creepy this is. For y'all to tell us there's something moving behind us. 11 o'clock position. Can you?
I almost thought I saw something.
11 o'clock would be like that. This time we'll have Bill go back
I
there.
don't know. You guys watch our back if you
It's the
don't
leaves
mind.
moving like breeze. I'm watching behind you. To the right of the bush when you turn around to fix the light.
It's not going to be very much longer, guys, till it's really dark out here and eye shine and that kind of thing will show up a whole lot better. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate you. Got my 6. You got my back.
Let me put my ears on and see if I can hear it. I noticed it when he was up knocking right behind where his head is when sitting with me.
There is no breeze. Unknown individual. There's no breeze out here. It's completely calm and still. It could be the pixelization. Jamie said my hat is doing it too, so it could be the pixelization.
That's a donkey.
I don't know if that's a donkey or is that
Oh,
geese.
Yeah, geese are coming over.
Matt says he'll take a screenshot if they grab us. Well, that would be pretty cool. You could put that on YouTube and it'd go viral.
I don't know if y'all can hear that, but there's a flock of geese flying over us. Man, they're loud. Can y'all hear that? They are honking.
Y'all hear those geese? There's a big flock of geese going over.
If y'all have never tried one of these, it's called a thermocell. These things work. It works off of a little propane bottle. Man, they get rid of the mosquitoes. You can get it on Amazon, thermocell.
Got Thermacell, give us a call. We need some sponsors.
Are you facing a hill behind you?
No,
Actually, it goes downhill.
It
There's
goes-
a creek back there.
it goes downhill and about 500 yards, 600 yards, there's a creek back there.
I don't hear hardly anything moving.
Yeah, Andy, it does. It goes kind of a downhill from here. 500 or 600 yards back there. There's a little creek that runs through there. Yeah, Under Armour, give us a call too. We would definitely like to promote your products.
I'm Armor All too. Y'all can't see it, but see, I'm Armor All too. Bad weather in Pittsburgh. Run to one. Use a 12 gauge for mosquitoes. That's a good idea.
Rod says, Rod, we actually live in Fort Worth, Texas, and we bought this property up in southeastern Oklahoma to do Bigfoot research on, and also to be closer to our other research area. But we actually live in Fort Worth, Texas. Yeah, I think, Andy, I think Carrie is working on some stuff with Armor All right now.
You hear that?
What? What do you hear? Close to where Robert was at. Yeah, Anthony, we're not too awfully far from there. That's one reason that we wanted to purchase this property, was to be close to that research area there. And then also to be able to research on this property. Plus, just a few miles down the road, we've got a 10,000 acre wildlife refuge that we've only been to one time, and spent an afternoon over there just looking around a little bit. But I'll guarantee you, and there's been a lot of sightings in that area over there, and it is just squatchy as can be. We've got to spend some more time over there and start doing some research over there. Yeah, Amanda, you do hear crickets. There's a lot of crickets going on. Yeah, Rod, be nice if Armor All give us a call. We would sure like to work with those people. And Thermacell also. When you squatch this time of year and you get out, especially at night, you really need the Thermacells. We use ours a lot.
Sometimes I strap it to my backpack when we're walking through the woods. I strap it to my backpack because they get bad deep into the woods.
Unknown individual. Are we far from Broken Bow Lake? We're
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Did you hear that? It was a knock. Oh, yeah. Boys from Tennessee.
back this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anthony. We met you at Robert's camp out. The boys from Tennessee. Yeah. Um, that's the camp out that got rained out. If that's the one I'm thinking about. Unknown individual. We're, as the crow flies, about 80 miles from Broken Bow. About the same from Ho Chi Town.
I thought I heard a knock.
I thought I heard
Right
it too.
through
Back
there.
back here. Back this way.
Yeah, kind of right through there.
I think we just heard a knock, guys. Back.
Oh, more eye shine. 2 days ago. I'm gonna step over there, but not too far. And see what I can hear.
I think we just had a knock back this way. Another Tennessee boy, John. Yeah, I think, Jamie, I think that Bigfoot cell phone did work. Carl, I think you're right. We've got an area back this way down in the property that's a real low area that water stands in there a lot. It's growed up really thick and it's a real swampy area, and we found multiple footprints over there. For some reason, they choose that reason or that area to travel through, but we found multiple footprints down in that swampy area over there. Carl, where's Rachel tonight? She not with you? You hear that? Yeah, I think they're answering us, guys. Do you think, John says, do you think Bigfoot stay away from us because of disease? I don't think so, John. I don't, again, I'm not an expert. Nobody's an expert on these creatures, but do they have the thought process to know that if they get around humans, they're going to catch a disease from them? I don't think so. Um, I, one of the reasons we don't like to feed is because we have no idea what their digestive system is like, what they may or may not be allergic to. They're used to eating raw meat, vegetation, crawfish, frogs, anything they can get their hands on. Obviously, it's not cooked, but we don't know, leaving peanut butter or snacks, sweet snacks, things like that. We don't know what their digestive system is like. We don't know if it maybe make them sick, and that's one of the reasons that we don't like to feed. The other reason is just heard so many horror stories about people that start feeding them and then for whatever reason stop, and they get real aggressive with them, do damage and just get real aggressive with them. So we don't like to feed because we don't know what may or may not make them sick, or last thing we want to do is feed something and have one get sick and die or whatever. We're trying to conserve these animals, not make them sick. Yes, we did, John. We did bring in sickness to the Indians. We sure did. Rod says it'd be like a stray cat. You feed them and then you can't get rid of them. Now we do leave an apple occasionally back there. They really seem to like those apples. Every time we've left them back there, apples have disappeared. And you'd think if it was a raccoon or possum, you'd find little bits of apple where they ate it, but just the entire thing's gone. So I'm not saying that that's what got it, but every time we put them back there overnight, they're gone.
I don't hear any movement, but I definitely heard what sounded like a knock, and it sounded like a whoop. Is that kind of what you heard?
Yeah, that's what I heard. They do love dog food, Carl. You can ask Wood Booger Farms about that. I think they'd eat up all of his dog food. Brooks, we have done campouts and invited the public. We have done a few of those, and quite possibly we're thinking about maybe in the future doing some more of that kind of thing. And now we won't do it in our research area or our research area down at Roberts, but it would be really close to there.
Hey, Coyote Slayer.
Howdy, Coyote.
What's the closest we ever came to the big man? Well, the juvenile that Bill filmed that's out on our site was probably about 30, 40 feet from me.
And the other two sightings we had have been further than that, but that's probably the closest that we've known. Now, we've gotten rocks thrown at us during the night and turn around and turn the flashlight on and have one standing 30, 40 feet behind us throwing rocks at us.
Yeah, and Edel and I had one throw at us. It seemed like it was pretty darn close. We couldn't see it. We just know from the direction of the rock. And then when I was hunting last season and one threw a rock and hit my foot through the canvas, he couldn't have been too far, maybe 30, 40 feet, if that much, because it hadn't have been thrown through trees. So, yeah, I didn't see him, but I just know it was a pretty accurate shot with the rock.
GM Pugh says, how many times have we had a clear sighting? Jim, we've had two visual sightings that we knew exactly what we were looking at. The juvenile back here was actually standing behind some brush, but the two clear visual sightings we've had two of those. Both of those have been down in Roberts research area, Roberts old research area. What do we think of telepathic communications? Can they contact us without knowing it? There's a lot of people that believe in so-called mind speak and ultrasound and those kind of things. I know that we've had a couple of instances where we've had things go on with electronics that we had no idea of why. We were with Rick Wells, Wood Booger Farms up in Kentucky doing an expedition one night, and we knew they were around us. We'd had eye shine and we had heard them and actually saw them on the FLIR, but all of a sudden everybody's electronics went dead. I mean, all at one time. Cameras went dead, the parabolic mics went dead, There was a lady with us that had on a Fitbit that just started going crazy. When we left the area, everything returned back to normal.
Yes, my dogs are barking.
Do you, anyway, back to the telepathic thing, I've got a theory about that. And if you guys go to the channel, I've got a video out there that's entitled, Does Bigfoot Communicate with High Frequency Sound? And I did an entire video on that, and some things that we captured on the camera, audible things that we captured on the camera that you couldn't hear with the naked ear. But if you get a chance, go out there on the channel and look at that video. It's entitled, Does Bigfoot Communicate with High Frequency Sound? Do you think there's a shortage of deer in your research area, or you think the Sasquatches let some alone to breed or such, or do they kill them all? We do not have a shortage of deer here. We've got a ton of deer on this property, and hogs also, wild hogs. I certainly don't think the Sasquatches would kill them all. I think they're smart enough to let them breed and continue the cycle where they've got a constant supply of food. But no, we do not have a shortage of deer here. There's a ton of deer. And in Robert's research area, Robert's old research area where we research now, there's a ton of deer up there also.
And GM Hugh, and answer your question, back to our experience with Rick in Kentucky, the night that we had such strong activity, and we felt like, sorry, I just heard something. Felt like we were really, really close to them, and they were that was the night that they shut down all electrical equipment that we had, every digital anything we had. There was a Fitbit that just started shooting crazy symbols, and cameras shut down, and everything. My parabolic mic, the static was so loud, I had to take it off. And several of us got symptoms. One of the girls that we were with got chest pains. Myself, I got like just a gastro indigestion, strong feeling. Another one of the people got a bad earache. I can't remember. It seemed like Rick had some kind of physical symptom.
I think Rick's the one who had the earache.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bird in the background.
John, that's a bobwhite quail. We got a lot of quail out here also.
But yeah, there was 4 or 5 of us that had some physical symptoms right at the same time that the digital equipment shut down. That was one crazy fun night.
Yeah, that was probably the best night excursion I've ever been on. That's the first time I saw one on the FLIR. I picked up a hot spot on the FLIR that was about the size of a basketball, but it was down on the ground. It was right on the ground, about the size of a basketball, and it was quite hot. Well, as we watched it on the FLIR, it stood up and was probably 7 foot tall. It stepped behind a big tree, and we never saw it again. But that's the night that we had all the crazy stuff going on with electronics, and it's the first time I actually heard on the parabolic I think what they refer to as the Sierra sounds, the chatter that they do. We heard that multiple times on the parabolic mic that night. You think it's a microphone squelch that you're hearing too?
Have you seen them in the trees? No. Do you see them in the trees now? Because if you do, I'm heading inside.
Yeah, it's dark back there now. If you see any eye shine back there now, please let us know.
if y'all have watched the video we did with Kerry, the very end where he did the aerial view, you can get an idea of how surrounded by woods we are. Our cabin is literally a spot in the middle of woods. So we have trees all around us right now.
That is a great question, James. Great question. I think, thanks, Rod. I think that the Bigfoot population is increasing. I really do. I think one of the reasons that all the encounters close to towns has happened is because we're destroying their habitat. I mean, we're cutting down trees and clearing for housing and commercial activities all the time, and I think we're destroying their habitat, and that's the reason there've been so many sightings around those areas. But I do think that the population is increasing. You know, I've heard so-called experts talk about how many Bigfoot are in North America, and I've heard as little as 3,500 and as many as 65,000. But I think that there is a healthy breeding population out there that is continuing to grow. I know we found footprints that are 3 or 4 inches long, which tells me that there are some very young ones out there. Well, that's great, Martha. I appreciate that. Got a color inversion on so you can see anything behind us.
Is that, did you hear that? It's too close to be a cow.
I don't know what that is. Not all black or brown or red hair color.
Oh, it's that giant bug.
Andy, the ones that we've seen are black in color and then a reddish brown in color, kind of an auburn color. The first sighting we had was one that Robert had named Big Red, and it was an auburn reddish brown color, and the other one was just jet black. But I do know that there are multiple colors that they come in.
There is a bug that's as big as that helicopter flying around here.
Look at that light up there. Hear that?
There's that owl.
Did y'all hear that? Joe, we are armed. We're always armed when we're outside here. Yeah, you're right, John. You know, one of the theories that a lot of people have about why the government has not officially told us that they exist is that it's going to shut down the logging industry.
Quit talking about. What's that saying?
Right there. But it's gonna shut down the logging industry per se.
Can I see the spike? I think.
And it's going to shut down a lot of other things. The national parks are going to suffer because people are not going to take their kids out in the woods anymore. That's kind of what I believe. The reason the government, we know the government knows they exist, and why they haven't officially come out and admitted it, I think is because of those reasons. You can imagine people like PETA and other organizations are just absolutely going to shut down the logging industry and stop the destruction of their habitat. And you're talking about a lot of money, a tremendous amount of money. And I believe that's one of the reasons that they haven't come out and just told us, hey, these things exist and here they are.
Can y'all hear that in the background? It's an owl, but it's not an owl. Don't you think? It's that same
Yeah.
call that we get. Ah, they're back! Yay! Well, I don't know that they're back, but it's something.
Yeah, that's true, Tim, but people are just not going to take their kids out in the woods where they know Sasquatch lives, I believe. Even though we don't think they're aggressive or pose any threat unless you cross them or unless you anger them or come between them and the young ones. I don't think that they're going to be aggressive, but I just don't think people are going to take their kids out in the woods anymore when camping or going to the national parks when they know that there's Sasquatch there.
Yeah, it's a barn owl, Andy. Let's be quiet. Don't talk right now.
Thank you very much,
Wait.
Carol.
The thing I want you to hear is yes, it is an owl, but there's also another mimicked sound in there. And the only reason we know that is because we've heard it every time we come here. Can y'all hear that?
I think you're right. They are becoming more fascinated with us. I think they're a curious animal. I think they're as curious about us as we are about them. And uh, I think that's probably the reason that 2 weeks ago that juvenile was throwing rocks and hitting the cabin, wanting us to come outside. And then when we did come outside with a video camera, it didn't run off. It just stood there and stared at us. And we eventually did hear it run off, but it was when Sheila had walked kind of toward the direction where it was standing. And I believe they're extremely curious about us. Um,
Yeah, there is a whippoorwill in that, Martha. It's hard to describe unless you're right here because you can't pick it all up on the audio. But there's one owl that sounds different.
hey, Patrick, you know, we've heard sounds and things going on around us that we always wrote off to it's something else and just didn't pay any attention to it. But since we've been doing research and really getting into this, I think it's things that we just kind of ignored and wrote off when all the time I think they were around us. But you know, you're in the woods deer hunting or fishing or camping and you hear a tree break out there and you might hear a whoop and you write it off as some other animal or something else and you just don't pay any attention to it. But when we're in the woods now, we pay attention to those kind of things, structures and sounds that we've always heard. We just didn't pay any attention to it. Now we pay attention to it.
That's kind of an interesting thought, Coyote Slayer. Yeah, there's several different kind of owls. There's one making that kind of monkey sound. I don't know if y'all can hear that. They've kind of quietened down now, but there's one that's kind of making that monkey sound.
We're certainly not having anything near what we had 2 weeks ago during the live stream. Uh, we are hearing some sounds. Did have a knock a while ago after I made the tree knock. A knock back in the woods this way, and then these owl sounds that are going on. But we're not having anything near what we had a couple of weeks ago, guys. It may pick up here in a little bit. I don't know. I'm expecting to see some eye shine behind us. GM, I don't know if you've seen the documentary that we did with Bigfoot Odyssey, but we talked about what got us started in this. Was two experiences that we had uh, several years ago. Uh, uh, we we actually got a juvenile on game camera at a deer camp, and we captured a juvenile on game camera. And then another incident we had a couple of years before that's what really got us started and interested in this phenomenon known as Bigfoot. And we started going on expeditions with the BFRO and actually became an investigator for the BFRO and started doing our own research and started the channel. And then we met a gentleman by the name of Robert Dodson and started researching with him. Uh, that's what really got us to going on this.
Our first encounters, Brooke, were in Texas. I guess the very first thing that made us interested was when we weren't really even that informed on Bigfoot, and Bill and I were camping way out in the woods in a little travel trailer, had the windows open, and we were woken up by the most horrible smell you've ever smelled in your life. The smell is what woke us up. It wasn't a sound, it was the smell. And after we both got awake, then we heard the heavy walking out there. And even then, we didn't know what it was. We just knew it was not a smell that we had ever smelled before. But that was kind of what really piqued our interest to be more inquisitive when we had strange stuff like that happen.
Yeah, Patrick Robert was one of a kind. There'll never be another Robert Dodson.
This really is creepy now. If y'all just think about sitting out in the woods, as y'all can see, there is no light other than the light we are shining on us, and our back is totally to the woods. So we're putting a lot of trust in the internet and our subscribers out there to let us know if a big shadow falls over us.
Welcome, Carol. Ronald, we're actually east of there.
Creepy, creepy. You're right, Brian.
Thanks, Linda. Appreciate it.
I know you have our six, but when you tell me there's big eyes behind me, what's your plan to rescue me?
You think we need to run a 500-yard string line like Robert used to do?
There's something back there, just can't make it out. Can you elaborate a little bit, Anthony? Scream first.
Well, Carol, we do this for you guys. I mean, if one grabs us and drags us off in the woods, it's all for you guys. At least y'all would get to see it.
Put hands on it.
You know, Robert had some really off the wall, thinking out of the box ideas about doing Bigfoot research, and he had a lot of success doing that. And in fact, next weekend, when the entire Squatch team is going to be down in Robert's old research area doing research, some of the techniques that he used we're going to put in place down there. Yeah, Ronald, I think personally, I think southeastern Oklahoma is one of the hottest places in the United States for Bigfoot activity right now.
How quick can he get here, Drew?
I know the Northwest, Washington, Oregon, California is supposed to be really good, but gosh, there is so much going on with Bigfoot in southeastern Oklahoma right now, and I just think it's one of the hottest spots in the United States.
Here comes owls again.
2 hours. Drew, you're further than that, aren't you? No movement behind us yet. You're right, Captain America. It is a hot spot. Carol, uh, I've stayed here on several occasions by myself for 2 or 3 days, and I certainly become a lot more in tune with what's going on when I'm here by myself. But we've had some, you know, some things go on around the cabin. They seem to like to throw rocks and sticks and hit the cabin in the middle of the night. They do that quite a bit. But we certainly keep the doors locked when we go to bed at night. And I've always got a weapon within hand's reach.
I would not stay here without Bill.
Well, thank you, GM. We appreciate that a lot. Rod, we're here quite a bit. We try to spend a couple of weeks during the month up here and then a couple of weeks back at home taking care of business there. But we stay up here as much as we possibly can. Carl, we're probably 100 miles from the Red River. Thanks, Lady in the Woods. Yeah, deadbolts are a must.
Fishing line and a cantaloupe.
Cantaloupe seems to work good, but I'm back to I don't particularly like to feed them. Yeah, they seem to really enjoy throwing rocks for some reason. We've had rocks thrown at us so many times, and in the middle of the night, even during the day. They just seem to enjoy doing that. And again, I don't think it's to hit us. I think it's just to get our attention and let us know, I know you're there and maybe you need to move on. Andy, we're probably 100 miles from McAllister. That's all right, Carol. Ask the questions. That's what we're here for.
Yes, Brooke, just 2 weeks ago, they left 3 red bird feathers along with a Nerf ball that we had put down there at their gifting area. They returned it to us all torn apart with 3 red bird feathers, and they've gifted us with other things too. A pretty blue rock. I can't remember other things. Yes, we have been gifted, not only here but at another site that we had a dearly set. We had some experiences of exchanging gifts.
Somebody asked a little earlier, did they ever mess with their vehicles? They haven't here at the cabin. Now, we were down at Roberts, camped out. My pickup has a camper on the back, and Sheila and I were sleeping in the camper on the truck that night, and it was pouring down rain, and about 4 o'clock in the morning, something shook my truck. And Sheila woke me up and she said, something is shaking the truck. So we laid there and listened for a little bit and didn't hear anything. And probably 30 minutes later, did it again. Something just like grabbed the truck and shook it enough that it woke us up. But we've never really had a mess with the vehicle here. And I keep my vehicle locked, but never really had them mess with anything here. When y'all look behind you, can you see anything shiny?
There's trees that have like openings and the light still coming through. I don't know if that's what you're seeing, but it's pretty far off.
Don't really see anything shiny back there, Anthony. Andy, we're south of there.
I think what you're seeing is there's the moonlight coming through some of the trees, and I could see it looks shiny. And if you're not where you really get a good look at it, it could be deceiving. But I think that's what you're seeing. I don't hear any movement out there when I put the parabolic. The noise that we've heard is deeper into the woods. It's not up close like we usually hear.
Patrick, we would probably do that. We're thinking about doing some of that type of stuff this summer. Up on top, dead center.
Up on top of what?
Up here. Have Sheila do another wood knot.
Where's the famous wood knocker?
Here.
This tree was here for.
Sheila's going to do another wood knot. Thanks, Brooke. We appreciate you tuning in. We're going to try to do this quite a bit. We enjoy doing it, and I think you guys enjoy doing it. Yeah, hit the thumbs up. She's going to do a wood knot. Done. You hear that? Thanks, Jeannie. We appreciate that. We enjoy doing these, and I think you guys enjoy getting out here in the woods with us live. Yeah, back this way. You sure? Ooh. Okay. Just had a whoop, guys, right here. Not far. What's my opinion of Todd Standing? You know, I've watched some of Todd's stuff. I really don't have an opinion. I know he's associated with a lot of bad stuff and a lot of good stuff, but I don't know. Some of the so-called Bigfoots that he's captured on video, it's just so I don't know. I'm sure Todd's out there trying to do a good job, best job he can. I really don't opinion. I don't watch a lot of his stuff. Scott Carpenter. I used to follow Scott a lot. I really enjoyed. Hold up just a second, guys. You got movement? Hold on just a second.
Mhm.
I used to follow Scott all the time. I really enjoyed his work and some of the things he was doing. But here recently, Scott kind of got off on this portal and cloaking thing, and I don't know. I used to watch him a lot and really enjoyed the stuff he was doing. But I don't know. He kind of left me behind. Yeah, she's got some movement over here in the brush now. I think maybe those wood knocks may have brought them in. Yeah, we worry about these dogs, Carol. Sheila does, especially when we leave the cabin. Uh, and of course, leave them in the cabin. We lock everything up, but she gets worried about them puppies being here. That'd be a snack for them. And I've heard people talk about. Uh, I think Rick Wells had one break his window. He had a dog inside that was barking, and they broke a window, either trying to get to the dog or shut the dog up. I know they don't like barking dogs. No, John, I don't think they do either. I don't. I've never seen any evidence of that. I would have to see it to believe it.
Can y'all see me lighting up the forest back there?
Colorado Bigfoot. Um, I watch his stuff. I enjoy some of his stuff. He's got some of the most amazing structures I've ever seen, and I follow him a little bit. Carol, you just got goosebumps. You ought to be sitting here with us.
You want to put this on? Listen.
There's not many Bigfoot researchers that we don't follow or don't. There's one or two. James, I watch a lot of Brenton's stuff too. We're all out there trying to do the same thing. We're trying to get as much evidence and as much researchers as we possibly can, and we're all out there doing the same thing. Now there's a couple of researchers.
Cattle. Because we do have some cattle around us. It's kind of a low.
Well, thanks, Coyote. We are kind of laid back. We try to do the best job we possibly can with honesty and integrity. But there's a couple of researchers out there that I just don't follow. I've watched them a couple of times, and some of the stuff is just these researchers out there that every stump is a Sasquatch and every sound in the woods is a Sasquatch. And I can't go along with that. I get got enough Robert Dodson in me that I believe as Robert does, these are living, breathing, bleeding animals that are out there that are undiscovered. But this flying saucers and Bigfoot and cloaking and portals and another dimension that they step out of. And
yeah, I've heard a lot of people putting each other down out there because they don't agree on it, but that's not what we're about. Let's let them do their thing and we'll do ours.
Yeah, we're all out there trying to do the same thing, and just others is taking a different approach than we do. uh, and you know we're out there working hard, trying to get as much research and bring you guys as much solid research as we can and good videos. We're trying our best to get the clearest, best videos we possibly can. People don't realize how difficult and how hard it is to get out there in the woods with a camera and try to capture this animal on film. It's extremely difficult. It's almost impossible. But, you know, we keep trying and God willing, someday we'll be able to do that.
No, I haven't ever put a video on the dogs to see what happens when we're gone. It's not a bad idea. I can tell when they get back though. They're calm. They're sleeping. I've got one that gets pretty anxious, and I think I could tell a difference in him if something's going on. We keep it locked up, so yeah, I don't think that's a problem. But I'm certainly staying tuned into that.
Thanks, Anthony.
See what you can hear on that woodline.
Yeah, let me say this right quick, Coyote Slayer. There was a side of Robert that most people didn't see. You know, on film, Robert was as straightforward as he possibly could be, and a lot of times he was gruff. But there's a side of Robert that most people didn't see. Only those that were around him quite a bit and come to know him. Really, he was a great man. He really was. Thanks, Carl. We love you too, guy. You and Rachel are doing some good work there at your place. Y'all just keep up the good work.
Probably not there now, but
Where?
over there in the woodline where we usually hear the
Why don't you sit down here and talk to them a little bit and let me. Thanks, Yvonne.
Just don't go too far away, okay?
Hey, Rick Wells, Woodbigger Farm. Good to see you, guy. Talk to him and let me go do this.
Yeah, well, don't go too far away. He's stepping away to go listen to what he can figure out what I was hearing over there. There's definitely something moving in the area that we usually know them to be. So he's going to go listen, but I promise you he won't go far because I will pull him back. Hey, Rick, we've talked about you earlier. Your ears must have been burning. Yeah, we've heard Robert do a little bit of singing under his breath. Robert could be hilarious, and a lot of people didn't ever get to see that side of him. But oh my gosh, he can make us laugh so hard. There's an area just to my left that's very wooded, and that's where we have heard the most activity. Seems like kind of their entry point when they're coming around the cabin. And I thought I heard some movement, and that's where we heard that little, not very loud whoop a while ago after I did the wood knock. So we're 9:15 time here. Who's in a different time zone? I don't think we'd ever be hunting them with guns. That's just not what we're about. Did you hear anything?
Something moving around over there. I don't know what it is. Something moving around.
Can you tell if it's got 2 feet or 4?
Tell. Yep. There's something moving around over there, guys. I can't tell what it is. It may be a deer, it may be a armadillo. I don't know, but there's something moving around over there in the brush.
Those bugs are so big that they
And,
sound like a cow.
hey, Rick, are you still in here? I want to show you a picture we got on the game camera yesterday.
I don't think so, Linda. I think if they want to move, they move. But you could be right. They may be choosing to wait until we're talking. I personally, I think this laptop lights up their curiosity. I mean, it's got images on it, and I'm sure they haven't seen too many laptops. I think it, and we've got a lights set up here above us, and lots of equipment around us. So I think it's just kind of a. You don't say that, Coyote Slayer. I don't want to see them crawling around. I want them up, but I don't want them crawling.
People don't realize that they do get down on all fours and they can move very quickly on all fours, and they do that quite a bit. I think they can move quicker on all fours than they can upright.
Yeah, we got flashlights. Lots of flashlights. See, very high powered flashlights.
For those of you that just tuned in, and I think Rick Wells is still on here, I wanted him to see this and get his opinion on it. I got this off a game camera yesterday that we had set up, and the uh, the frame before it, the camera was shaking, and then two frames before it, the camera was shaking, and then this frame, this showed up. And we know it's not raccoon hair, it's not possum hair, it's not a dog, it's not a bear. We don't know what it is, but we know what it's not.
5:15 London time. Hope you don't have to go to work today.
Looks like D. We don't know what that is. I mean, when I first saw it, when it popped up on the computer, it first thing I thought about was an arm in front of the camera with that hair hanging down. It's not raccoon hair. Raccoon hair doesn't look like that. It's not possum. It's not a bear. It's not a deer. Uh, we don't know what it is. I'm not going to speculate and what it is, but it's one of those things that you just scratch your head and there's no way of knowing, I guess. You got some pics that are very similar, Rick? It was on a game camera we had stuck down in the woods down here, where we think they travel quite a bit. And one of the things that kind of got my curiosity was the couple of frames before that, something grabbed the camera and just shook it. And then this popped up the next frame. So mountain lion, Pete, I don't think mountain lion has long hair like that. They have pretty short hair. Some strange sound on out here now. I don't think it's a wild hog. The camera was mounted up too high for it to be a hog. Thanks, Yvonne. We appreciate that. James, it was 4 or 5 foot. I don't know, maybe 5 foot off the ground.
Yeah, I looked in the window to check on the dogs, and unfortunately, they were awake and started barking.
No, it wasn't you, Hosier Bigfoot. Rick, I'd like to see those pics that you got that's similar to that. No, I think you're right, Andrew. I don't think any man with a gun is a match for a Bigfoot. But if my life's in danger or Sheila's life's in danger, I'm going to certainly try to slow him down.
Oh, did y'all hear that? That was so sweet. Thank you, Bill.
Do you have a mountain lion in Oklahoma? Amanda, I've never seen one, never got one on game camera. I'm sure they're probably here, but I've never seen one. And I hope I don't. I think I would be more afraid of a mountain lion than I would be a Bigfoot. Thanks, Jenny. Appreciate you coming in. Now, we have a lot of bobcats, Anthony. A lot of bobcats. Cody, I've actually had them. I set a game camera up here in Oklahoma several years ago, down close to Broken Bow Lake, and we went back the next day, and the game camera was opened up, and the SD card was missing. Now, could somebody have done that? Of course.
Why didn't they just take the camera?
Yeah, why didn't they just take the whole camera? Why did they take the SD card? But somebody, something took the SD card out of that camera. That's a great question, Ronald. Do we believe the Bigfoot is more animal or more human? I think they're I think they're pretty close to half animal, half human. From what I've seen and the research I've done, uh, I mean, you've got some that don't look human, that look more ape-like, but you've got others that just look human right in the face. Thanks, Charlie. We appreciate that a lot. Okay. Okay, Rick. I'm looking right now. Yeah, it is. That is similar, Rick. It seems like the one I've got here is a lot more hairy than that, but they are similar. Guys, we've been on here quite a bit. We're having some people that's hey John, thanks. I appreciate that. And again, thank you for your gift you sent us to put down at the gifting area. We really, really appreciate that a lot. Yeah, Pete, I believe they do have a language, and we've heard them before uh, using what we think is their language. So we certainly couldn't understand it, uh, but we think they definitely do have a language and are able to communicate. Yeah, you're right. It's blurry, so it has to be a Bigfoot, right? You think we need to get off of here? It's been a long time.
You see it?
75. Guys, if we're keeping y'all up or keeping you too late, let us know and we'll certainly get off of here. Or we'll hang out here as long as you guys want us to, and maybe the action around here will pick up some. Carol, some people do. Some people think that they have a lot of Native American in their language. And, I think Rick Wells can testify to that. You want us to stay, lady? I think they probably do have a lot of Native American language in their language, but a lot what I have heard, I certainly could not understand it. Thanks, Coyote Slayer. We're going to try to do as much as we can, as many as we can.
You go live at midnight or close. Our experience has been, since we've been here, that they usually are active till like about 10 o'clock, and then they go silent till about 2 or 3 in the morning. So maybe 10 to 3 is hunting time. I don't know. But they seem to just disappear about 10 o'clock, and then they start back up around 3.
Yeah, we've patterned that quite a bit. They get real active 10 o'clock or so, and then it gets really quiet. It shuts down till about 2 or 3 in the morning, and then they start throwing rocks and hitting the cabin.
Good night, John. Thanks for joining
us. Night, John. Appreciate it. Thank you a lot. Anthony, we appreciate it too. We appreciate you so much for coming in. Sandy, we'll stay a while for you. I'll mention this again, guys. Next weekend, starting on Thursday, the entire Squatch team will be down at Robert's old research area. Me and Sheila and Scott Hunley and Mr. Udale will be there for 3 or 4 days doing research in Robert's old area. Hopefully, we might be able to do a live stream from there. Lady, that's something that we're thinking about and talking about. We hadn't really made any decisions on that, but I think it would be really, really good to do a Robert Dotson Memorial Camp out and invite some people, not to Robert's research area, but there's an area down there that we can utilize that's fairly close. It's still in a hot zone, but inviting a few people, a handful, 10 or 12, and doing something like that maybe this summer. Are we afraid? No, we're not really afraid, Sandy. We've done it so much now. Camped out in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere, and squatches around. But that's what we live for. That's what we go out there for. We won't forget you, lady. I think doing a Robert Dotson Memorial Camp out would be really great. Robert used to do those down in the Ouachita and invite a few people along. That's how we met Robert the first time, was attending. I guess it was the first one he did.
That candle is frying those bugs.
Good. But that's how we met Robert the first time, was attending his first one that got rained out, and he invited Sheila and I to come back because we got rained out, and so we started going back, and camping with Robert and Udale, and just developed a friendship over time. And Robert kind of mentored us, and we've spent uh, we've spent a lot of nights sitting around a campfire with Robert and just talking about research and things like that. We got to love him.
Good night, Native Man.
Night, Pete. We appreciate you stopping in. Who is Clokey?
What?
Oh, I heard something. Oh, that's Rick's cat. Is that the one that Bigfoot put in the garbage can?
Woods are quiet tonight.
Yeah, it's quieting down a lot.
We had those owls a while ago, but they've quietened down now.
We had a wood knock and sounded like a whoop over
No,
here.
we hadn't heard any more owls since a while ago when we were talking about it.
Now, Brian, everything is really quieting down a lot.
That's what is interesting in this kind of pattern. They, like we said, usually everybody will meet back here at 3 a.m. because usually this is the pattern we see about this time. They're gone, and then they'll come back throwing rocks at us at about 3 in the morning.
Well, thanks, Rod. We appreciate it. We appreciate you. No, Martha, it's really quieting down. Where in the woods is this?
In Oklahoma?
This is in southeastern Oklahoma, not too awfully far from the Ouachita National Forest. You're right, Gordon. Oh, you're welcome, Sandy. Next to the big tree. Carol, I just think it's their way of communicating over long distance with each other. The wood knocks is like, hey, I'm over here. Where are you? And same thing with the whoops. I just think it's the way that they communicate with each other over long distances.
I like their version of cell phones. Sending a text. They scared Rick. Yeah, nobody scares Rick.
Well, we appreciate it, Ronald. And if you got a question for us, ask. I mean, there's no silly questions as far as I'm concerned. We're certainly not experts. We're trying to learn about these animals as much as we possibly can, but we're certainly no experts. But we want to share with you guys the knowledge and the experiences that we've had. And there are no silly questions where this is concerned. So if you got a question, please ask it. You're probably right, Andrew. We'll get some rocks thrown later tonight.
Good night, Wade. Thanks
Night,
for joining
Wade.
us.
Appreciate it.
They're boogering the kitties.
I don't think you missed anything, Michael. It's gotten really quiet all of a sudden. We had one wood knocked earlier and a whoop and then it got really quiet.
And the owl's talking. I wish there was a way we could get a really clear sound of those owls so people could see what we're talking about.
You know, the difference in
the one different one that you can just tell it's a mimic. It's not an owl.
I mean, you guys know what an owl sounds like, and when you hear this, and it starts off sounding like an owl, but then you can tell on the end of it, it's not an owl. It's something imitating an owl.
Yes, Hoosier, we did wood knock earlier and got a response earlier tonight.
Brian, the biggest footprint we found, it was 17 inches long and 6 inches wide. That's the biggest one we found. We found that one in Texas.
Good night, Patrick. Sleep tight. Don't let the Bigfoots bite. Yes, we had we did a wood knock, Hoosier, and got a response right not too far from us.
Rod, it's more periodic than consistent. I mean, we come down here a lot of times and don't get anything. There's no action going on at all. And then we come down here like it was 2 weeks ago, and there's stuff going on all over the place. They're bringing us gifts. They're throwing rocks. They just seem to, when they're here, they want you to know it for some reason. But other times we come down here and it's just quiet and nothing going on, which again, I think they don't live here, but they travel through here or they come here to hunt. So it's more periodic than it is consistent at all. There's sometimes we come down here and stay a week and don't get anything going on, and then there's other times we come down here and there's activity all over the place. Rick, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they might be learning our pattern of when we're here. Well, yes and no, because our pattern isn't consistent. I mean, sometimes we stay for several days and sometimes we stay for a week or two, but it's just whenever our schedule allows us to come.
Ron, to answer your question, do they stay in groups or do certain ones hunt or my personal opinion, I believe, look, these things have got to eat every day. They're huge animals. They've got to eat every day. So I think they probably all got to hunt, maybe not together. So now we do know, or we feel like there are certain ones that they post during the day. We call them day watchers. Maybe the group sleeps and they post sentries or day watchers at different locations that can warn the others if someone's coming or if they see danger anywhere. But you know, these things have got to eat, and I think they probably take advantage of the situation, and all of them get out and forage for food. But
what are you saying, Rick? I find you. You definitely see a few booger cats. Y'all don't talk about them crawling. That really creeps me out.
Hi, Sandra. Hi, Jimmy.
And I'm not hearing enough to keep the cats alive, Rick.
Yeah, Carol, they definitely post day watchers or centuries. We call them day watchers uh, that they're there to warn the others if someone comes in the area, if there's danger in the area, or maybe another predator in the area, and that's where the wood knocks and the whoops come in.
Stop it, Rick. That's not even funny. There's nothing crawling behind us. Is there?
I don't know, shine that light back there.
I wish there was, just to make Rick scream like a little girl. But you know, if I put my stop it, if I put my light on, one would hear Rick screaming from Kentucky like a little girl. To your left, low. Stop. That's not funny.
You ever heard DDoS talk about them getting on their belly and crawling? He said they look like a spider. They can move so fast.
I heard your camper door creaking. Are you serious? It's the puppies are in there. Did you really hear the camper door creaking? Or maybe it's just one of these chairs.
Y'all ever seen that video Robert had of that one coming up the hill that he caught on game camera that dropped down on all fours and turned around and ran off? If you ever get a chance, you need to check out that video. It was walking up the hill and it saw the camera. He had a camera hidden, but somehow it saw the camera and it wheeled around and went down on all fours and took off. That's the reason I think they can travel faster on all fours than they can running upright. Scott, I don't have that video. I wished I had it. That may have been of the ones that he lost. Sandy, I don't think the time of year makes any difference. I think they're, you know, I don't think it makes any difference. I think if they're here in the summer, they're probably going to be here in the winter or fall. Uh, it, I don't remember what it was called, Scott. It may have been one of the videos that live stream hacked, and it may be one of those that's lost forever. I don't know. Um, Sandy Hearn would be the one to talk to about that.
Well, you can forget about me having cats, Rick. I'm not a cat person. I'm a dog person.
Exactly, Ken. Looks they're going from two-wheel drive to four-wheel drive. I think DDoS's description of what he saw it'll make the hair stand up on the back of your neck when he talks about that one going down and looking like a spider when it was running off. Stacy Hearn, yeah, she'd be the one to talk to about that, Scott.
I mean, these woods are just quiet as a cemetery right now. No owls, no birds, which sometimes is a sign of Bigfoot in the area when the woods get quiet like that.
Jimmy, is that true? Squatch reached in and grabbed the body and left with it. Mm.
I don't know if you're trying to make me be scared or not, Rick, but we have seen this to happen. The woods get really, really quiet when they're around. Yeah, he does. He enjoys scaring me like that.
Rod, I don't remember the name of that video. It was one Robert had a couple of years ago. Um,
Yes,
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 Coyote's
yes,
Lair.
yes.
We have family that think we're crazy for what we do.
But then I've got a brother who's a firm believer because he was with us one night in the woods. And where were we at? Were we in Ouachita then? When we had rocks thrown at us. So my brother doesn't think I'm crazy, but some of my other family does. And Bill's son, Cody, I'm like, yeah, I think he's on the fence about whether his dad's lost his mind or not. The bugs are, we're going to have a bug, lots of protein in that candle holder over there. Look at all those bugs swimming in that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it keeps the mosquitoes away, but not the bugs. I think we've got every species of bug in these woods on this table right now.
Okay, guys, I think we're gonna wind this down. It's getting late. Um, I can't let you guys know enough how much we appreciate you guys coming on, and those of you that subscribe to the channel. Just if you don't hadn't subscribe to the channel. We got some really good stuff on there, and we work hard for you guys out there, and we try really, really hard. So we can't let you know how much we appreciate you guys coming on our live streams and subscribing to the channel and liking the videos. But
I think that's the chat up. It's not rolling anymore. Or I messed it up.
well, thanks, Martha. We appreciate you keeping an eye out behind us. Yeah, Carol, we do. We have a lot of stuff down at the gifting area, and we'll be checking that in the morning.
Yeah, Scott, you leave the bad weather in Florida, please.
See you next Thursday, Scott. And we just appreciate you guys. Thanks, Carl. Thanks, Amanda, Cryptid559, all of you guys. Jamie, we appreciate y'all so much. We really, really do. Like I said, we're out there working hard for you guys. But y'all just continue watching us, support the channel, get out there, watch the videos, and we'll continue doing what we do and what we love to do. Next weekend, the entire Squatch team will be down at Robert's old research area doing research. So you guys stay tuned for that. We'll have a lot of great videos coming out. hopefully we'll be doing a live stream down there, but we'll do many more live streams here for sure.
Wait a minute, Rick. Before you go night, may all your dreams be of creepy crawling bigfooters, or what's he call them? Boogers.
Boogers.
Yeah, I
Wood boogers.
hope your dreams are full of them tonight.
Guys, we love y'all so much and we appreciate everything just so much. We can't let you guys know how much. So you guys have a blessed night and a blessed day tomorrow. We love you guys. Bye-bye.